All right, so if you are looking for a way to make money online, or you are looking for an app that pays money, for you to take surveys and also to play games, then this video is for you. All right, make sure to watch this to the end because in today's video, I'm going to be talking about this app that actually paid me 3,599 naira in just 2 days. All right, which is about that's over $2. So the first day I started, I made over 3,000, and then the second day, I wasn't that consistent because of the nature of my job. All right, so that's why the money is like this. So I believe if I had stayed consistent, I would have been able to make more than this. All right, but before we continue, my name is Paul, and in this channel, I teach you how to make money online. If you're interested in making money online, maybe with a different kind of apps, websites, different, ways to make money online, I want you to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell, so that whenever I drop any video, you will be the first, to be notified. All right, so let's get started. Now, if you look at this particular app, you see now they say we are currently searching for more surveys, play games and make some cash in the meantime. So this particular app is called Golden Survey. All right. And the link to register will be down below in the video description because there are a lot of fake websites out there that claim that they are golden surveys. So the link will be down below in the video description to sign up. All right, first of all, I'm not a financial advisor. All right. Always make sure to always do your own due diligence before you embark on things or you take tasks, on different apps and websites. So, from my own experience, I think this should be a good way to earn some side hustle. And remember, this is if you're expecting a huge amount of money, then you might get disappointed. So that's one thing you should know about. So let me just say something about it. When I first started, the first day I registered with this application, there were a lot of surveys. So all the surveys in fact, I was able to answer almost everything. I think it was only one I missed because I had some good ideas about surveys. Now, I don't know, maybe I don't know, Sha, maybe it's more like, I don't know, maybe they are trying to use that to welcome me. All right, I can't sure because I'm not really that sure because I was surprised the first time I did all the surveys and I had 99%. I made almost everything except for just one. So I made the money within not even up to an hour before I was able to make, I think over 30 minutes or so. So I did a lot of different surveys and I made the money. So by the second day, I wasn't that consistent because of the nature of my job. So when I tried taking other surveys, I got disqualified. But I bet one thing I noticed was that, when for the surveys that had higher amounts, each time I got disqualified, they always, gave me some little amount of money. All right. So instead of them to pay me like 100%, maybe they would just pay me like 5% of that. That was what they did. I did that. I did for like three surveys also. So they would just use that maybe to encourage me or something. And I don't really know why I was getting disqualified, especially the following day. And then maybe other persons, because sometimes when it's too competitive, whether you might still be seen on your dashboard, but if other persons have taken the surveys already, then that's one thing I noticed about survey, that even when you've completed the task, they will disqualify you. They will say you are not a match. So that's what I noticed. Even today, I was still trying to take. I tried to also. They asked me questions. Those are almost about 800 naira for one of them. I tried, and the thing, and they just said I wasn't a match for that. I tried on that one of about over 400, said I wasn't a match for that. So, but there were still about two or so that I tried and I was able to complete. One, they pay me 150 because one thing I noticed is that, the prices, the amount they pay, maybe from the second day usually goes down. But from the first day, the amount was they actually I think I had few surveys. One of them paid me 1,200, another one paid me about I think 800 or 700 or so. So that's one thing I noticed about this website. And also they always recommend that you take you play games also. All right. So if you come down here, you see, wait, let me come down. You see a lot of games here you can play. All right, so you see game that can pay you over 6,000, 7,000. 3,000, 3,000, over 6,000. So there's a lot of games here you can play here. So, but another thing I noticed about these games is that the questions they ask are kind of technical. I'm telling you, they are not just simple questions. So before you be, they are not questions, they are not things that you are do that you are really that familiar with. So that's one thing you should know. So that's one thing you should know about this the games. So you have to be very, very patient with it because this one is not that easy. The games are not easy at all because they are basically questions from what the one I played, the first one played was they were actually asking questions, but the questions were kind of technical. And so that's one thing about the games. All right, but for the surveys, the questions are not too hard. All right, they are just more like when you start, they're just more like things that you know. If you don't know them, and I try to be truthful, but one thing you should understand about the surveys is that some are short, some are very, very long. But even after playing maybe game for like over 30 minutes, there was one I played and they gave me about 159 naira also, which I think is very, very small. Because so that's one thing I noticed also. So for this particular app, I think it's a great way to it's a good way to get started if you are somebody who is looking for a way, because I've actually checked other people, made my research, and I realized that you know and I actually realized that most people I checked, most of them said they were paid. All right, so that's the reason why I decided to also embark on it. And also, before you can withdraw your money, you need to know their threshold is 11,000 naira. That's about $9. It should be up to about $9 or a little bit more than. So that's one thing. So if you look at, they say play games and earn money. So here you can click to discover games from what I've shown you. All right. All right. Also if you want to withdraw your money, you can just come down here. You click on that. So you see that now the amount is there already. You're going to be withdrawing through Visa card. All right. So I think this one is basically gift card also. So this one where you can actually withdraw your money. All right, so from what I have seen about, Golden Survey, I think it's a good way to get started. All right, so your own is to give it a try it out and see how it turns out for you. All right, now you should also know that this one, if you are expecting huge money, like I said before, then this might not be what you want. All right, so if you are somebody who has the time, to really spend and take some surveys and play games, then you should give it a try. All right, so that's all I have to say about this platform. Remember, if you want to learn how to make money online, make sure to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell so that whenever I drop any video, you'll be among the first people to be notified. Thank you, and I will see you again in the next video.